All right, we're ready to get started. Hey, welcome. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today for this co-brand and content marketing session. My name is Brad Anderson. I'm the Director of Education for eXp Realty and also for this ReTech Campus, which some of you are sitting in right now. I want to also welcome those of you around the country and around the world into the webinar who've joined us today for the co-branding and content marketing. I am doing a couple of multitasking things here, so I will do my best to answer your questions. If you're on the webinar, there's a questions box. You can just type that in there. I will try to respond to that about halfway through the presentation once we're completed. I'll also open this up to the Q&A for all of you in the cloud environment. Alternatively, if you want to use the text chat that's in the cloud environment, it's located down at the bottom of the lower left screen. You just click next to the on air button. Your microphone right there is a little gray area. If you click your mouse there, you can actually type your questions, your comments, and feedback there. All right, so let's jump right in. What is co-branding? Co-branding basically is marketing. When you share something on Facebook, your photo and your link to your profile shows up, that's your co-brand for your comment or your post on Facebook. Pretty much everything you do around the world online or on the web is co-branded because it's linked back to you, your profile, your content, your information. The question is, are you linking people to the mothership where you can get the most business? Are you co-branding in a way that's really getting you more traffic, more eyeballs, and more business? So today what I want to do is just give you some of the secrets that I've learned. And there is no sale here today, folks. I've got nothing to sell you. I've got nothing for you to buy. I'm just sharing this information because it's good information. It's helped hundreds, if not thousands, of agents across the country, and I feel confident that it'll be helpful to you today. So I do want to thank eXp World for letting us use the ReTech Campus for this industry outreach initiative today. I also want to thank Active Rain. Active Rain, I wrote an article that I was going to be doing this content marketing co-branding session. They were kind enough to actually feature that article and put that up on their main feature board. And so that's why a lot of you are here either in the campus today or at the webinar. So I want to give a huge shout out to Bob and the folks over at Active Rain for featuring the post and for, I've been on there for so many years. Again, to get a feature on Active Rain is quite an honor. So I just want to give a shout out to them and say thank you. So one of the things that I wrote in that article that I think drew a lot of attention was I showed a website called homes.com. And if you haven't heard of homes.com, it's a pretty popular website, not as popular as some of the other portals, but it is a popular site and people do go there and they do search for homes. Many of you have also heard of this site, that's realtor.com. And yeah, I mean, they have some great commercials on TV and they're driving a ton of traffic to their website. And so obviously these kinds of sites have a lot of eyeballs, they have a lot of inquiries, they have a lot of consumer interest, regardless of what anybody thinks about them. That's not the point. Even sites like Zillow. You look at Zillow, Zillow has probably more traffic than any of the other sites combined, and there's a lot of information available to the consumer. So why do you go to the site you go to? You go there to get the information you're looking for. And you don't always rely on everything you find on the internet. And consumers are smart. They know better in most cases that everything they find is not always accurate. So the question is, how do you drive traffic to your ship? How do you steal the traffic from homes.com? Now, yes, you can go pay for advertising. And you can even advertise on realtor.com or Zillow. But I think there's a way that you could go in and what if you could do something like this? Let me just pull this screen up. Now, this is the same site. It's realtor.com. But look at the bottom of the screen. If you notice at the bottom of the screen, there's my picture. It says your home search could actually end here. Really? Are you ready? So this is what I call content marketing. Would you ever send somebody to realtor.com? Would you send them a link to a listing? Would you send them a link to their home? Would you send them a link to anything on the site there? Well, yeah, you might. And if you would, why wouldn't you want to be holding your hand or their hand when you send them there? And so what you're seeing here is the ability to co-brand on a marketing site where you're able to link people back to your page, to any page you want to link them to, through a little tool called Sniffly. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Make sure it's on both screens. So what Sniffly does is simple. It lets you take any website, any URL, any www.blah-blah-blah.com, and use that link to co-market your information and drive traffic wherever you want to drive that traffic. So let me explain. If I were going to share a site, and I'm going to ask everybody in our cloud environment at some point to engage in this, and we'll have you type information into the text chat. And those of you here in the webinar environment, I'd ask that you type something maybe in the questions box. But think about it. Have you ever seen something on the web that you really liked so much that you decided to tweet it, Facebook it, put it up on your Pinterest, Snapchat, Instagram wall, or even go on to any Google Plus and share that link and say, oh my gosh, did you see what's going on here today? Did you see? Well, folks, this is what we're doing every day, all day long. So what I'm saying is, if you're already doing this anyway, what I'm about to show you is just, it's less work, it's more effective, and much more powerful. As I said, imagine if somebody's going to go to realtor.com and they're going to see this screen. There's no agent on here. Versus if they landed at realtor.com on this screen and you're the only realtor on the screen. And who doesn't want to end their home search there, right? So let's see. Yeah, Laura, on the webinar, you might need to reboot your computer. Sometimes the audio can be affected by your internet connection, just in case you're not hearing. I think everybody else seems to be okay. So just wanted to acknowledge Laura Phillip, who said there was went silent. So I'm going to continue on because I think it's important. I'm not going to spend a lot of detailed time in diving deep because there's only 4 steps for you to do this. Number one, you obviously need to go to the site called Sniffly. So I'm going to give everybody a link to this, both in the text chat here in the cloud. And so if you go to the text chat, you'll see the link I'm sharing with you called snip.ly. A lot of people make the mistake and go sniffly.com, sniffly.org. They email me, they say I can't find it. So the first and the hardest challenge you'll have today is just knowing it's snip.ly. It's really that easy. Let's see, can I type that in here as well? Here you go, folks. This is for you all in the text chat. I just put a link to everybody in the webinar. Now, here's what's really cool. Once you go to Sniffly, I really want you to see how easy this is. Once you go to Sniffly, don't price it. What I'm showing you is free. Now, of course, there's going to be one catch if you use the free service, and that's up to you, folks. If you want to pay for it, you can. I'm just showing you what you could do for free. I went in, created my own account, and now I have a dashboard. And in my dashboard, everything I snip, no pun intended, and share with the world online, I get to track, I get to see what's happening with it, I get to follow up, I can really watch and analyze the growth and the impact this will have on the things I'm going to share anyway, okay? So here's how easy it is. Once you create, you have to have an account on Sniffly. There's a box right up at the top here that says enter any URL. So I can go grab any web address anywhere. So the first person in the cloud campus to type in their URL, you're going to be our winner today. So if you're the first person to type in an accurate URL into the text chat, there it is. We got it. Okay. If you folks on the webinar can see the cloud stuff, it's going to explode with websites. I'm going to grab this one here. Thank you, Lori, in Los Angeles for your contribution. So I'm going to open up a new tab and window. I'm going to paste her site right there. And it looks like, oh, cool. She's got this nice looking page. So watch this. This is the website I want to snip, right? And so do I want the traffic to end up here? Well, for Lori, yeah, this is her mothership. This is where she's wanting to drive the traffic. So now what I want to do, how do I drive traffic to Lori's site using Sniffly? Real easy. Watch this. I'm going to go find a video on YouTube. And on YouTube today, what would be valuable to somebody in order to drive them back? I'm going to say tips for moving. What kind of tips are there for moving? You got acne commercials, you got moving hacks, must have do-it-yourself moving tips. Now, obviously, provided there's, let me let this video ad stop. Provided that there is no competition on this video, this might be a great thing to share in your content marketing. Look, if I could go to Facebook right now and say, hey, these are some do-it-yourself must-have moving tips, and there's my competitors not there, and I would tweet this and I would put it on my Facebook, and I would send it in an email to a friend who's needing some moving tips. Watch how else you can use this. So I got to let this ad continue playing because I really want to check and make sure that it's not another real estate agent that I'm promoting and obviously driving traffic to. Okay, so it looks safe, moving tips. I'm kind of just feeding through it. Of course, folks, if I were doing this live, I would watch this video in its entirety to make sure that the value is the best moving tip video on YouTube. But now watch what I'm going to do. I want to drive traffic back to my site, my mothership where I get business. So watch this. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you got to take the address. Notice I'm highlighting at the top of the page and I'm pressing Control-C on my PC. For you Mac users, it's Command-C to copy that URL. That's all. I go back to my Sniffly dashboard, and right up at the top it says enter the URL that you want to snip. So I press Control-V on my PC or Command-V as in Victor on my Mac, and it pastes the URL right up here in the snip box, right? Step 2, I click on the orange button that says create a snip. Watch what happens. And I'll So I'm going to mute her because the video is playing. You can't stop the video while it's playing. Now, here's the 4 things you do. Here's the URL that you're sharing. Here's the call to action. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then here's your button text and your actual URL where you're going to drive the traffic. So here's the URL. The content marketing that I'm sharing is the video. The message and the call to action is this. Looking for a place to move your stuff, right? I mean, come on, they're looking at moving tips. And then I'm going to say, here's my call to action. This is what the blue button's going to say at the bottom of your Cobrand. And I'm just going to say, looking for a place to move your stuff, look no more. Or start here. Let's just say start here. Again, this is customizable by you. This is your verbiage, your vocabulary, what you think will work, what calls to action you feel are going to get you the results you're after. There's hundreds of calls to action that are in single words, 2 words, but I wouldn't make this too long. I would just say start here and put an exclamation. Now, the last step, there's only 4. The last step is where do you want to drive this traffic? Where do I want to send this? Well, for Lori today, since she was the first one to respond, I'm going to send it to this website right here. So I'm going to go back to my snip, and I'm going to take out this URL, and I'm going to put any URL I want to drive this traffic to. Now, I'm going to show you something that's going to rock your world in a second because this is a video. And with video, it's different than how you share any other site. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But here, again, number 1, pick the URL you want to share. Number 2, put the message into your co-branded ad of the message you want the person that's relative to the content you're sharing, you want them to see. Number 3, add your call to action. And number 4, add the site, the mothership, the place you're trying to drive your traffic to. Real simple. Any questions on that from either audience? All right, now watch what happens. When I click on snip, it's going to snip. It creates this link. You're going to see it up on the screen. Next step 5, watch this. I just click on copy. All I did is copy this highlighted blue URL you see up on the screen right now. Now, what do you do with this URL? Oh man, that's the beauty. You share it on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, uh, LinkedIn. What did I miss any of the high end ones? There's 150 social media networks out there, I'm sure, that could benefit by knowing this information. But again, this is just moving tips. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this URL, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it here in the text chat. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter, and that's going to be sent to everybody on the webinar, and I'm going to send this to everybody in our cloud environment. And as a benefit to Lori today, Lori, you're going to get the most traffic you've probably ever had on that website, because if everybody in the campus clicks on it right now, and if everybody on the webinar clicks on it right now, you're going to generate some nice traffic, which will raise your search engine optimization. Google will go, wow, this is a busy site. Yes, Terry, I'm doing my best, and I believe it should be, but until it's rendered and we're actually have it in our hands, it's like telling somebody they own the home before they have the keys. I am trying to record the session, but because we're in two environments, we'll see how this works out. So that's it, folks. All what you just did and what you just saw is the ability to create a snip. This allows you to co-brand and take your content marketing, co-brand it with this little Sniffly at the bottom. Now, I want to point out what you see on the screen right now. Down here in this little ad that you see says looking for a place to move your stuff. You see where it says Sniffly and a little question mark, and it has a little Sniffly. It's just above the blue box. That's the downside of not paying for it. If you want to pay for it, remove that Sniffly ad. That's super. You can do that. What I want to show you though is by taking that Sniffly now and opening it up in a new window, I want to show you something live. Watch what happens when I open that snip I just shared with you all in my own browser. I want you to see something really cool. There it is. There's the video. So Lori, I hope you love this. Here's a do-it-yourself, DIY. For those of you who don't know what the acronym is, it's do-it-yourself. Must have moving tips. Think about it. When you were moving, would this be of interest to you? Would you watch it? You sure would. I would. I think I did. So watch. Whether I click on, I only have two things I can do here, folks. I can either click this red button and make this video play right now. Oh, I can click the X up here in the upper right corner and close the window. Or I can click on this guy's co-branding thing that says that, are you looking for a place to move your stuff? Well, actually we are. We're renters. We're moving out because the owner sold the home and now we're looking for a place to live. So I am looking for a place, and they click on your blue button. Now, folks, this is the best part, and happy Valentine's Day, because here comes the love. What if they don't click on your co-branded ad? Whether they watch this video or not. Watch this. Watch closely. I'm going to go really slow. Let's say for time's sake, I just watched the whole 5-minute video. Okay? Let's say for time's sake, I don't have time to watch your video and I click on the X and I close it. Either way, watch what happens. Whether I click play and watch it, hey, she's waving, it's playing. I'm actually listening to it right now. Now, I'm going to stop the video. Let's say I didn't watch the video, or let's say I watched halfway and I come up here on this X and I close the window. I did not click on your co-branded Sniffly piece. I'm clicking on closing the window to the YouTube video, and watch what happens. Look where I ended up. So whether they click on your ad, when I told everybody I'll show you how to get people to go to your website without even clicking on your link, we just accomplished that right here live. And you can all be doing this right now. So open up another browser. Those of you here in the cloud campus, open up another window if you can. If you're on a small laptop and your minimal desk space is little, then you might want to do this after the class. But go create a Sniffly account. It'll take you 2 minutes. Just setting up a profile, do the free version, and start testing this stuff out. See if it works for you. I did this for Realtor.com. How did I do that? I'll show you in just a second. But again, my point in everything I just shared with you is for free. You can now share content marketing. And if you use YouTube videos, if you actually use YouTube videos, or what's that slide share? Or no, what's the slide deck. There's a website. Hang on, my phone's ringing, and I think it's somebody from the session. So I don't answer my phone during these live sessions, folks. Uh, so it's slide share. If you go to slideshare.net, if you share any PowerPoint presentation, yours or anyone else's, with anyone using Sniffly, it'll do the same thing that video just did. In fact, look at this. Here's a video of our very own Chris and Karen Hyland talking about blogging and the power of blogging. Great video. And so I shared this with some people outside of our organization, and I started sharing it with some people around the world in real estate. And I wanted them to know we have a lot of other great content they can come watch. And so I snipped it. So when I say I snipped it, they not only got to watch this, Chris and Karen Hyland, excellent real estate blogging technicians, they got to see up to 60 other events that were recorded that are just as good. And so by sharing video, they never need to click on your snip in order to be driven to whatever site you want them to. So watch, if I close this video, where do they end up? Boom, right there where I wanted them, right at the ReTech Campus anyway. So again, folks, think about the things you're sharing already every day, how you could be sharing them the same way you are, but actually driving traffic. Now, could I share that snip on Facebook? I sure could. Watch this. Watch what happens. If I go to my social page right now and I drop that Sniffly right here on the page, look at that. There it is. There's my must-have moving tips. Anybody that clicks on that must-have moving tips is going to end up on where? My mothership, the place I'm trying to get them to go look for homes, find out more about me, maybe see what their home is worth, maybe get pre-qualified, maybe get some tips, read my blog, whatever. The point is your mothership is where you're ultimately trying to drive traffic every day, all day anyways. Karen, can I have you go ahead and mute? Thank you, dear. I'm holding questions till the end, dear, okay, because we're doing a live webinar right now. Oh, sure, yeah. Thanks for that, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm not gonna post this, but I am gonna share the live stream feed here for our folks in the cloud. Great call, Karen, thank you. I forgot to do that in the beginning. There's a long URL in the text chat now for everybody in the cloud environment. You can all follow along much closer by just copying and pasting that into your browser window. But what I was going to say is no matter who clicks on this link, you truly would be driving traffic from social media. So what we're doing now, folks, is we're stealing traffic from Facebook. We're stealing traffic from homes.com and realtor.com and Zillow and these sites where, they want you to do that. That's why they want you to advertise and spend money, and so you can build your business. So they're behind the same initiative I am, which is to help you grow and build business. Whether you pay them to do it or I show you to do it for free, there's always choices and options in the world, and you still have that choice and option today. But what I'm saying is this Sniffly shared anywhere in social, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Snapchat, Instagram, anywhere you share this, people are going to click on this and say, this is good information. So go find the content that you're going to share anyway, run it through Sniffly so you have a chance to drive some traffic back to your own site, and that'll make the first 30 minutes of this session totally worth your while if you implement that today. Now, the other thing, somebody's asked me about realtor.com, and I'll just show you what we did. I'm not going to post this right now. I'll go ahead and close that window because I want to go back to how we did that on realtor.com. So here's realtor.com. So by way of making sure you all are getting this and understand, would this be the URL I want to drive traffic to? Or would this be the URL I want to pull traffic from? Right, exactly. So since we want to pull traffic from the site, that's the URL I'm going to share. Now, you could go deeper. You could pull up a house. You could pull up somebody's personal address. You could pull up a detailed page or a question that was asked. Or come on, realtor.com has a ton of great stuff, as does homes.com, as does Zillow. Let's just focus on realtor.com. I can take this website, any URL, press my Control-C to copy the URL, right? I'm going to go back. I'm going to close out this old one. Let's create a brand new snip. So it's right here. Enter the URL at the top of the page. I press Control-V or Command-V on Mac users, and I say create a snip. Realtor.com. What do I want to say in my message when they land at Realtor.com? I want to say, your search could and should end here. Boom, no question. Really? Why? Or how? Or show me. Or what do you guys think? So by way of our audience here in the cloud campus, what would you put here as a call to action? What would you want that blue button to say if you really wanted somebody to click on it? Let's get a little bit of feedback from our live audience in the cloud campus, and then for those folks in the webinar, obviously you can go in and type anything here. Search here now. We're going to go with that one. I like that. Sir, but if we're saying the search could end here now, the idea here and the concept behind this, folks, is I don't want them to search. I want them to tell me they're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,200 square foot home under 500,000. Go, and then have them never search ever again. I'll go find them their dream home. So let's say, show me how. Find out now. I like some of these. I'm going to go with this one here. Really? And where do I want to drive this traffic? Anywhere I want. I might want to drive this traffic to my Facebook business community page, depending on what I'm sharing. Now, the fact is I'm sharing a site that searches for homes. That's Realtor.com. So again, you can share anything with anybody and drive them anywhere. So again, I'm just running through the process for those who popped in late to say, well, where would you want to send them? I could send them anywhere. I could send them to Google to do a search, but let's just say I'm sending them to bradsdomain.com or anywhere. And once you create the snip, that's it. All you have to do is click on copy and you're good to go. And again, if I paste that into the text chat and you go click on it, you're going to see that now this time it is co-branded, but not like video. Your ad will disappear, but the point is at least you're there when they arrive. And unless they click the X, the ad will stay there. But let me go ahead and I'll share that also with everybody on the webinar. And somebody was asking, who is this for? This is for anybody that wants to use content marketing and co-brand their content marketing. So you could be a title company here in this class right now. You could be a lender, an appraiser, a home warranty person. You might even be a landscaper or a plumber. This applies to anybody and everybody who's on the internet that does any kind of sharing, any kind of content marketing, because ultimately everybody has a page they would like everybody else to come to, right? We call that the mothership. And so when you wonder, well, who is this audience that this is for? It's for anybody in any industry, anywhere. You guys just happen to be fortunate that I chose real estate as my career and as my industry. And so that's why I'm sharing all of this with you guys. Let's go back in and look at that now. I want to see what that actually looks like to make sure it did actually snip. And let's open up a new window. Let's see if it's there. I'll paste the snip in there and hit enter. And voila, there it is. And so now I am co-branded on Realtor.com. And if I go find a realtor, why would I do that? I got one at the bottom of the page. Oh, your search could and should end here. Really? And then, of course, when I click on the link, what does it do? You're driving traffic with your content marketing to the sites you want to grow to do business. It's really that simple. Now, we're at the bottom of the hour. I want to take the next 10 to 15 minutes to show you the Zillow technique, because Zillows and Trulias, they figured out, hey, these content marketing sites, basically they have this ability to do the things Brad's sharing with everybody today, and we don't want people doing that on our website. So they found out a way, and others are finding out ways to block sites like Sniffly from doing what they do. They're very far and few between. As I just said, even homes.com and realtor.com, you can co-brand your content marketing using those sites. But with Zillow, it is a little bit different. And so what I want to do is give everybody the technique on how you would do this on Zillow. It's a little more complicated, but of course, if it were easy, wouldn't everybody be doing it? So let's talk about how you do that. By the way, for those of you who wanted to share this with some folks who might not be able to be here today, I wanted to give everybody a link because we did talk about this session in the past, and I believe it was how to use Sniffly to get more traffic back to your blogs and websites. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with you in the text chat. So if you want to share this with somebody else after, or you'd like a copy of this presentation, you'll have it both in the cloud environment as well as here in the GoToWebinar environment. So let me just post that to all of you here. And make sure it's popping up in there. Hopefully you're all getting these links in the webinar. And there you're getting it. Okay, beautiful. So, and again, my snip on this is just going to drive you back to recordings and other sessions we've done here in the ReTech Campus. So there's no marketing or subliminal message here, folks. I'm letting you know now that if you go watch this, how to use Sniffly, it will drive you back to the ReTech Campus for other archive videos we've done, classes just like this one here. The other link I want to give everybody before we wrap up today is the actual this class, which is called Co-Branded Content Marketing for Real Estate Agents. It's not this class we're doing today. I am recording this, but I want to make sure everybody here has this since you did come. And so I'm going to give, again, a link to everybody in the text chat, both in the Cloud Campus, ReTech Campus, and as well here in the GoToWebinar platform. And I'll send that to everybody. There you go. All right, now let's move on to the second piece of this, which is, again, no matter what website you want to share and no matter where you want to drive that traffic, Sniffly is your best free option that I've ever seen out there. It truly is one of the greatest technologies. If I could pick anything I'd want to share with anybody in the industry to help, within the real estate industry to help them, or even outside the industry, I would say that this is one of the best marketing tools out there, even worth considering paying whatever fee they would charge if you're concerned about removing the Sniffly logo. But when it comes to a site, let's talk about a site like Zillow. So for you to co-brand on Zillow and show up across the top of their website, I don't know what you think that would cost. I know what it costs to show up along the side of homes in the zip codes and in the Premier Agent program that they have available where you can do, marketing by paying a fee, and then you show up in specific areas or you're rotated in with other agents on their advertising platform. And folks, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have the money to do that and it's working for you and it's converting you business, super duper, that's awesome. I would never tell you to break anything that's working or change anything that's working for you. But a lot of folks want to know how I was able to add my co-brand to Zillow and how many of you have learned to be able to add your co-brand to Zillow. And it's really simple, but it is technology. And so I'm going to go really slow. I want to make sure everybody in both platforms gets this, along with those that are here with me now. So we're really in three worlds here, folks. So this is really kind of an awesome event because we've never done anything like this in the past. But let me go ahead and show you. So here's Zillow.com. Anything you look for, and believe me, there are billions of pages of Zillow.com. I mean, let's face it, there's 116 million homes on their site. 100 million of them have a Zestimate on them. And so just in the home pages, you got 100 million pages on Zillow. Any page on Zillow allows you to co-brand because they used to offer these things called widgets. Now, in their widgets, they offered co-branding. And a lot of people said, well, I don't want any widget from any other company on my website. And that's understandable and that's fine. But there is something unique to Zillow. So if I go in right now and I look for a home, for example, let's just search for a home in Napa, California. And I'm going to look for homes for sale by agents. I only want to work with the realtor here, and I'll just pick a home. So here you go. And here's a home. It looks like it's actually acreage, 12.16 acres. Folks, this is a fluke. This was not an intentional for me to find 12 open acres of land in a place called California. Really? Sorry, inside joke for those people who know California. Any acreage available and that's left is pretty awesome. But my point is this property, this specific address, this unique profile of this home or this property or this land, everything on Zillow is unique. Let me show you what I mean by unique. It has an identifier, right? What is an identifier? This, just like your house you live in today has an assessor's parcel number so you can pay taxes, that is your unique identifier of your home. Just like your thumbprint, your retina scan is your unique identifier of you. Well, Zillow's unique identifier is right here. It's a number. It's right at the top in the URL. You'll see zillow.com/home details / the address, city, state, and zip / what is that? That is how they differentiate property 194097959 from property 194097060. See, watch this. Can I just change one number in that and make that a 60? Is there really a 60 property identifier where I just changed the URL to find it? Whoa, there is. Hardman Avenue is just one number off. So the reason I share this with you folks is so that you'll understand every property on Zillow has a unique ID. Just like every one of your profiles on Zillow, and if you don't have a profile on Zillow, it's free. And if you don't have one, this won't work for you. So you'll need to set up your free profile on Zillow. But just like each home on Zillow has a unique ID, so does each agent. And it's not just agents on Zillow. There's homeowners on Zillow. There's renters, plumbers, landscapers, roofers, the guy that works at Campbell's Soup stamping the can. I mean, everybody, consumers, real estate professionals, they're all on Zillow. 70 million something people have claimed their home on Zillow. So by this unique ID, getting married to your personal property ID, your personal profiles ID, married to the property ID, could we actually create a co-branding opportunity? And the answer is absolutely yes. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go to a training site I use here. It's my WordPress conversion training platform that we use for WordPress training in the cloud here. But I just want to point out something down in the blog area of my site. I decided instead of linking my personal ID today to show you how I could link and co-brand and co-market content on their website, I decided to create a way to drive traffic to them since they're going there anyway. So watch this. Right here on the side of my blog, this is a training blog, but I went out, I took a picture of the neighbor's house and I said, told him what I was doing. He said, no problem. So that's my neighbor across the street from a home that I sold. And I said, right on there, I said, what's my home really worth? And many of you have heard this line from the consumer when you start talking about value of homes, guesstimates, estimates, and zestimates. You hear, yeah, but Zillow says, and we know this, and that's okay. And Zillow wants you to be armed just as much as I do, because here's what I would say. Zillow is a great place to start your search and get your zestimate, but at the end of the day, you're going to need me to help you come up with a zactimate. Okay, so the consumer knows they need you, just like all of those people on WebMD know that at the end of the day, they need a doctor. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to use the URL and this to help you create your own, should you decide to do this. All you're going to need to do is come to the site I'm on right now, right-click on this, a little window will open, and all you have to do is say, copy, link, address. And that's going to give you the answers to everything you're asking right now. How do I do that? How do I do this co-brand marketing? How do I do this content thing on? Well, this is it. You're going to have to come to a website and you're going to come to this image and you're going to click copy link address. So for those of you wanting to walk along with me, let me give you the training site I use. And it's called Cloud World Real Estate. We're all in the cloud. Webinar, you're in the cloud. ReTech Campus, you're in the cloud. We're all in the cloud right now. So I'm going to share this URL with both audiences. And what I want you to do is when you get to that site, scroll down to the bottom till you find this icon. Your instructions are right here to right click on cloud, go to cloudworldrealestate.com, scroll to the bottom till you see this Zillow widget. It's not a widget, it's a picture I created. And you're going to right click on this image and you're going to say copy this link address. That's step one. Step two, really simple. Are you ready? You're going to open up a new browser tab or window, and you're going to paste Control V or Command V like Victor, but don't hit enter yet because I want you to see the URL. So I'm going to leave this up on the screen while some of you are actually doing this live. I'm going to go slow. I made some promises to some folks. I would go so slow, this would be like one-on-one training. All right, so here's the URL. I got this URL from simply copying the link address from the image that's going to link people back. Now, let's go back and show you what that link does. Before I come to this page and explain more, all we did was copy the link address from the image I just shared with you. Now, let's go back to that image and let's look at something. What if I click on this? You all know that right here, we were looking at Zillow. We were looking at a specific address, so I'm going to close that window. Here's another one when we changed the number. We found Hardman Avenue. I'm going to close that window. And now I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to click on that image to show you what happens. Watch closely. I'll go slow. I'll wait for the Cloud Campus screen to load. There we go. I'm going to click on this, but Zillow says, and watch what happens. Takes me right to Zillow.com. But this time, Zillow.com looks a little bit different than it did the screen you just saw. In that my name is at the top, my company is at the top, my email address, my phone number, even a link to my website is at the top. And over on the far right corner, you're going to see it says back to where I want to drive my traffic. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Even if I go over here to find an agent and I click on Agent Finder and I see all these agents that could be able to help me sell my home, there's still somebody at the top of the page. And the beautiful thing about what I'm showing you is that no matter where I go, even though I may disappear from time to time when somebody goes in and clicks on the Buy tab, and they decide, well, maybe I should see if I could get a mortgage, and they click on the Mortgage tab. But then they come back to that Agent Finder, and there you are. So throughout the site and throughout the remainder of their time on Zillow, you're going to be at the top of the screen. Now watch this. You can see up here, I'm going to close this window. I'm going to open up a brand new tab. Let's just say it's a day later. I'm remembering that Bethel and Elizabeth from Las Vegas sent me this link. And so I don't even search it. I just go directly to Zillow.com and watch what happens. Really? The guy's still there? That lady's still there? They must be good. Folks, let me ask you, if Zillow could charge you to have you appear at the top of their website when people came to it via your website or your email or your link or your social media, what would they charge you for that? So with that, I get to say, Happy Valentine's Day. It's so great to be able to give back to an industry I've loved more than 30 years. And what's really cool is for all of you on the webinar, I know we have two worlds here, and so I'd like to just kind of pull that up. And I'd like to acknowledge these people. So while you've been sitting on this webinar in the comfort of your home, a lot of these folks have come into our fully immersive 3D high-tech, high-touch environment, which is not browser dependent. It requires no Oculus Rift glasses. We don't even wear plastic red and blue lenses. We just have an internet connection and can port in here from anywhere in the world. You can see there's people talking in the EXP ReTech Campus. And again, folks, this ReTech Campus is open to anyone and everybody in the industry, regardless of your affiliation with eXp Realty or any of our affiliates. So please feel free to pop in here. While you can attend this webinar, which is going to wrap up here in a minute after questions, many of you could be coming in here. There's sessions going on all day long. And so while some of you like to take advantage of webinars, I'd like to put the webinar technology in perspective to say that I can do a webinar. Actually, I'll show you on the screen right here behind me. In fact, so much so that if I turn my avatar around here, you'll see we are doing a webinar here in this auditorium. And out there are all of our guests and visitors and owners. And so no right click, no right click. All right, so I'm going to move this back over. I do want to open it up to questions because I know a lot of folks are saying, well, Brad, how do you get that technique? How do you get that to drive? Let me go back to that one URL you right-clicked and copied, okay? I have the URL up here at the top of the screen, and I need to show you exactly what you need to do to make this work for you. All you have to do is, before you hit enter on this long URL, is take out Brad Anderson, because that's my unique ID identifier over on Zillow. Just like each property has a unique identifier, so do each of you. So how do you know what your unique identifier is? Well, you might think it's your first and last name, but it might also be Brad Anderson 7196. Or it might be Brad Dash Anderson. So how do you know what your profile is? So let's go take a look. Let's go over to Zillow. Let's find one of you. All right, so I'm going to type, I'm going to look for somebody I think I know. Let's see, how about we type in, oh, here's my friend. I wonder if she'll come up as Beth Ellen. Let's see what happens if we search for Beth Ellens on Zillow. You gotta love that. Huh, Beth? Do I hear you? Yeah, I hear you. So watch this. I love it. So I'm doing a search for Beth Ellen. You're gonna go do a search for you, and you're gonna pull up your profile. Now, some of you might think it's gonna be your name. You might just think it's Carlene Lewis, or you might just think it's Angela Quinton. It might not be. You might have gone in back when you created your profile and come up with a really nice custom name like Beth Ellen did. And that's why I'm glad I'm using this example, because it's really Yale 1974. Folks, here's the secret. Copy and paste your profile ID back in the URL where it says Brad Anderson, and watch what happens. Notice I changed it from Brad Anderson. The screen name now equals Yale 1974. Folks, if you miss this little bracket, if you add a dot, you're going to mess it up. It has to be exactly as I'm showing you, or you're going to be emailing me saying, help, it's not working. So here's what we do. Now I take this URL, I copy it, and I paste it anywhere I want. For example, I'm going to paste it to all of you here in the text chat, both in eXp's world and in this nice little GoToWebinar chat box. I'll say send to all. And now you see the URL, and watch what happens when I click enter on my screen. All of a sudden, Brad Anderson disappears off of the top of the co-branded content marketing page. Now, who's at the top of the Zillow page? Beth Ellen Rosenthal, eXp Realty. There's her phone number, there's her link, there's back to her site. And again, if I go in to get advice from other real estate professionals, guess who's still at the top of the page? Even if I go into sell, oh my goodness, sell, and she's still at the top of the page. Folks, I hope this has been useful. I hope this information is valuable to you. More importantly, it is really nothing unless you decide to try it, implement it, and see what kind of results you get. But I will tell you this, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by using Sniffly to content and co-market, co-brand your stuff you're sharing anyways. And if people are going to go to Realtor.com and Zillow and Homes and Zillow and Apple and Google and Craigslist and anyway, with or without us, why not send them there, point out the value, and make sure you're holding your hand the whole time. If you're not holding their hand, they might find somebody else to answer their questions. So Pam, that's awesome. I'm glad it worked. All right, so I'm going to scroll through the Q&A right now just real quick. I do want to let everybody know we have some other sessions. You can always find everything that we're doing here in the campus in our cloud site, and that's just going to be eXp Cloud. You can go to the cloud calendar. You'll see right here, this session is nearly at its end, but all of these sessions, if you come back here at 10, we have a social media strategy and Q&A that takes place right here in this campus. You'll see all these red events are actually right here in this ReTech Campus, and you're all welcome to attend these. As I said, there is no criteria for you to come into the eXp ReTech Campus or eXp's World or any of these sessions for that matter. You just need to go to invite.exprealty.com and you can get into this campus. And again, it doesn't matter regardless of your affiliation with us. This is an open environment, much like Google and Apple and Zillow offer APIs so everybody can use the data. This is our API to the industry. And so we invite you, we welcome you. If you're here in the cloud campus, thank you for joining us. You now have the keys to our home and our world. You're welcome in anytime. Those of you on the webinar, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to send you an invite. I would also be happy to give you a quick tour of the cloud environment if you're interested. It is a great way to learn, not in the sense that everybody on the webinar has been, awesome for you being here. You just can't engage with me like you can if you walk up to me in our cloud environment. We have staff there. We have, at any point, I mean, this morning before the webinar started, there were 170 people just walking around right here in this cloud world. So happy to give anybody a tour of that. So now I want to go to questions. I got just a few minutes left before our next session, and so I wanted to pop in here to the Q&A on the webinar first. Looks like the first question, is there a way to save this or just redo it every time? Yes, great question, Rochelle Landau. You can actually save that URL. So here's what I would do. Watch this. Beth Ellen already knows what the URL is, right? So she knows how to go in and copy and paste that. Again, the step is simple. Come over here to cloudworldrealestate.com, right click, grab that link address, go paste that on a notepad. On your Windows computer or your Mac computer, your iPad, your iPhone right now, whatever you're on, paste that URL onto something that you can access again and again and again, because you're going to want to save that. Because again, all you have to do is copy and paste that. If you paste that in social media, if you put that in your signature on your email signatures, if you market that in your blog or your websites or your lead gen sites, folks, I would push that out everywhere. And then you have saved, you're basically saving the URL to be placed anywhere and everywhere you want. Now, again, the technique I just shared with you only applies to Zillow co-branding. For everything else, there's MasterCard. No, I'm sorry. It just sounded like a great commercial opportunity. For everything else, you're going to use Snipply. That's snip.ly. And that should allow you to content market everything you want to anywhere you want and drive traffic back to anything you want. All right, let's go to the cloud environment. I'm looking for responses in here. Phyllis, thank you. That is so sweet of you. Phyllis Miller says, wowza, what a gift. No, you're so sweet. I'm a rock star. No, you are the rock stars, and you are all so worthy and deserving of this information. For many of you, I have known you for the 30 years I've been in this business, and it has been such a privilege and an honor to witness so many of your life-changing events and your successes, and to be part of watching your growth, and to be there to cry with you many times and to laugh with you, both in person and online, both in social and offline. It's been a privilege. It's been an honor, and what better way than to do things like this, to give back. If everybody did this today, if all couple hundred people or whoever's watching this now as a recording, if you just go out and pay it forward today with no expectation in return, everything in the world you could possibly expect, it'll just come back to you. And if you give, you will get. It's just a fact. And so I'm not out to get anything today. I'm truly out to give. I want to make sure that you folks can get the most out of these online opportunities. And this is a free technology. We know that the Zillows and the Trulias and the Realtor.coms are getting a lot of traffic. We know they'll never go away. And if they do, we'll be prepared. But I think for today, if you just implement a little bit of co-branding with any of your content marketing, just test it, just try it. If you don't see results, then email me, brad@exprealty.com, and I'll be happy to sit down with you one-on-one and evaluate your initiative and your efforts to find out why it's not working. But with that, I do want to bid you all a wonderful and fabulous Valentine's Day. For those of you that are going to be going to the next session, I believe it's going to be held over in the, let me pull that up. It's an orientation session that's happening over in the Productivity Center. And then again, for those of you on the webinar, if you would like to take a tour of the cloud, as it were, I'd be happy to do that for you. I will be sending out to everybody who registered a link to the recording of this session, because some folks couldn't make it in, and so I used the GoToWebinar platform to actually record this. There are a couple more questions coming in, so before I end the recording, I want to go ahead and make sure that I answer these questions. Mick, Mick asks a great question. He says, how do you mask that URL? You mask it behind hyperlinking. Anytime you use hyperlinking, let's say Facebook, how would I hide that long URL? Let's go to Facebook and show you real quick, Mick, because that's a great question. Instead of having this big, long, ugly looking URL on here, see if I can paste that in there. See that big, long, ugly URL? So what Mick is asking is, how do you hide that? Well, in Facebook, here's a trick. In Facebook, you post the link, and then watch this. And then you erased it, and now you click on post, and that's it. They never see the URL. And you put some call to action like, I can help you I can help you turn your Zestimate into a Zactimate. And then you post that to all of your audience, all your friends, all your followers, right? So now there is no ugly URL. Now, if I were sending that out in an email today, Mick, what I would do is I would type the words, your home on, or how do you change your Zestimate, or whatever those words would be for your call to action to make them click here to see how, or whatever that would be. And then you highlight those words and you just make those words the hyperlink. That's how you hide that long, ugly URL. There was another question by Rochelle. Thanks, Rochelle, for engaging and participating. And it's actually not a question. She says, thank you for a great class. You're awesome. I appreciate that. Kelly says, will you be emailing out a link to this? I will, Kelly. I will email a link to everybody who registered for the webinar. Everybody in the cloud at the ReTech Campus already knows how to find access to these things. Mark says, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, so great comment. Mark Larico says, thank you, Brad. Found, again, love the Zillow training and the co-marketing. He says, you can't have Sniffly and the Zillow branded site at the same time, correct? Zillow has figured out how to block the Snip. That's the reality. The truth of the matter is they haven't figured out a way to change the property IDs and your ID and my ID. That's the only way they can make this go away. So folks, I don't know how long this will last. They might be part of this webinar right now and say, you know what? We got to change that. So take advantage of it today. Tomorrow is a new day. And we know that the world, we're nothing if we can't adapt to what? Change. Mick, exactly. I love it. That's good stuff. Just remember, folks, no matter what site people go to, it's like Zillow will tell you themselves, it is not a Zappraisal. It is not the Zaprice. If the site were called Gillow, they'd have to call it a guesstimate, which is exactly what it is. Sure, they're using high-tech technology to algorithms and robotic things and computer stuff we'll never understand because it's NASA rocket scientist stuff. That's okay, right? We know at the end of the day that consumer needs you just as much as that consumer needs a real doctor and not just WebMD. WebMD is no different than Zillow, folks. It's a starting point for consumers to try to gather information. They know it's not fact. They know it's not 100% accurate, just like WebMD. And so get out there with that knowledge and help people sell the American dream, knowing that what you do cannot be replaced ever by any website, any portal, or any technology. If we took it all away today and there was nothing left, not even electricity, what would still be left? Homes and people, of which they will still need you to help them buy, sell, invest, relocate, or even rent until they're ready to buy from you. There is one other question came in. Great for Facebook. What about other platforms? Any platform you go to, you should be able to hide that URL. If you want a quick trick and tip, Mick, watch this. Go to a site like bit.ly. Instead of snip.ly, you're going to go to bit.ly and watch this. Now, if you want to have that shortened URL be hidden, paste that URL into bit.ly and look what it does. Now I got this copy. Let me give you a copy of that in the text chat real quick so you can see what a short URL looks like. And for those of you on the, for you, Mick, here on the webinar, I'm going to give you a link to what that would look like shortened. I'm going to send that to everybody, and then you can go ahead and see what that would look like. Folks, we're at the top of the hour. I can't thank you enough. I can only say I'm glad you took time out of your busy schedule today to try to help you and your business. That's why we're here. Have a great Valentine's Day, and we'll see you either back on the next webinar or back here in the cloud. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.